Joe Machi is here. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you know you're one of the favorites, I think, of the staff on this show? Every time we talk about you coming, everybody gets very excited.
Oh, good. You guys have good taste.
Yeah. You're also, I find, the same person off the air that you are on the air. There's no act with you.
Tough. The bad boy.
Yeah.
Women love me.
Yep.
Men are afraid of me.
I,
Really.
I understand. Same girlfriend?
Same girlfriend.
The one you still will never show us a picture of?
No, I will not.
Okay. By all accounts, they say she's really pretty.
She exists as
Yes.
well.
Oh,
a lot of people are like, you're just lying. Joe, everything you say is fake, and you've never even talked to a woman alone.
Yeah. I start to believe that. I see a lot of you on Fox News, man. They love you over there.
Oh, they do. I was just laughing at their Chiron. They just took it off, but it was a naval captain.
Right.
And it said he's just back after foiling Houthi attacks.
Oh,
they use the word foiling.
The only foiling only comes when somebody tried to tie somebody to a railroad track, and then they were foiled again.
He's like twisting his mustache. Drat, you got me again, Popeye.
Yeah, you don't really hear foiling a lot. How you been, man? How's everything going?
Oh, good. I mean, this is week 7 in a row for me. So
of what?
Being on the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, just rocked Cleveland. You probably heard.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it.
Just got down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like the road? To me, it seems like the best possible, especially in a relationship. You leave on a Wednesday, and then just when you start missing her, you come back, and then when she gets on your nerves, you leave again.
To be honest with you, I love being on the road. It's so fun doing shows.
Yeah.
But the flying,
I bet that's a pain in the ass.
It's gotten so much worse since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Your flight's canceled again for no reason.
I don't fly a lot, so I don't have to deal with all that stuff. Being fat and flying is pretty pain in the ass too.
I would imagine. I'm pretty ripped.
Yeah, no,
and
you're
even
good.
My muscles.
You're good.
I'm just like I can't barely get my quads in a coach seat.
Do you fly first class because you get a lot of miles and stuff?
I do get a lot of upgrades. Yeah, and boy, do I love looking at the people walking past me in coach. I'm like, yes,
it's part of the. Well, you ever see somebody?
Me.
You ever see somebody pass you that you feel bad for? Like you feel like, oh, they deserve the seat more than I do.
Yes, all the time.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like military heroes and stuff. I mean like famous people. Like you ever get like I was on a flight one time. I'm a big Yankee fan, and right after the World Series, Tino Martinez got on the flight, and he was sitting in coach because it was a small flight and they only had a small first class. And I went, oh, he deserves to sit up there. Like I felt like I should be swapping my seat out with him.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why you'd think that. It's also like kind of crazy he didn't book ahead.
Yeah.
Tino Martinez.
I think it was, in all honesty, they had a World Series and then there was a boxing match. And I think they probably couldn't because the series didn't know how long it was going to go.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that's
See? I've already thought it out in my head.
Well, last time I was in Salt Lake City, there was a UFC match. And this guy, I guess the other guy didn't make weight, but they still fought. And this guy got knocked out. And everyone was coming up to him on, like, when we were boarding, getting pictures and stuff. And I'm like, wow, this guy's getting recognized by everybody.
Yeah.
And I was just eavesdropping because, they were talking in public, and that's what you do. You listen in. Hey, if you don't want to be eavesdrop, don't talk.
Zip it.
Yeah. And he was sitting in coach with me, like,
oh, really?
In the middle seat.
He got beat and he had to sit in coach?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, man, maybe it was his entourage with him, but, like, you just felt bad. And he was a pretty tall fella.
Yeah, I had to fly coach for the first time recently to go to California, of all a 5-hour flight. But I have a skinny little 11-year-old daughter that sat in between me and my wife, so it really wasn't so bad. Oh,
perfect. Yeah.
I got a buffer. Mm-hmm. Joe Machi is here. I'll never forget. I spent the first time you were on the show, I called you Joe Machi for the whole time. You didn't even correct me one time. That's how polite of a guy you are.
I'm a humble genius.
Yes.
That's what I tell people.
Yes, that's what we often say.
I don't need to show off. I don't need to join Mensa. People know I'm smart. I don't need an organization.
Where do you live? You live in New York?
No, I live right outside the city in Weehawken, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
People call it New Jersey's Paris.
Right.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Weehawken is New Jersey's Paris.
Well, I don't know if you've been to Paris. It sucks.
Oh, man. And do you still work in the New York comedy clubs, or you mostly just travel?
I do. It's tough because I write for Gutfeld in the mornings. So I have to be up early, so it's tough. I try to put in a couple nights a week at the cellar, but I don't always get there.
Okay, so you get up in the morning, you go over to Fox News. What do you do? Give me the routine. This sounds like the best job.
Yeah, I wake up, I get there, and it's like...
What is the mode of transportation from the Paris of New Jersey to... Do you subway in, or what do you do?
I take the bus.
Oh, you take a city bus?
They're
not even paying you enough to Uber you in?
I take a New Jersey Transit bus.
Oh, man.
A public state disgusting bus, which is beneath me.
Yes. You come in from Paris on the bus.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you go over to Fox News and what? There's like a writer's room?
Oh, there's no room. It's what they call a cubicle.
So this is the least glamorous job I've ever heard of. And that show's been number one.
Yeah, well, we don't need all the fancy frills.
Right, you mean, yeah, okay.
We're down to earth. Myself and Joe DeVito.
Is that, who else? Who was writing? You, Joe DeVito,
We got one other guy who's not a comic, but he's written for a whole bunch of comedy shows. And then...
What's his name?
His name's Dan. And then we got some regular people from the news industry who write these stories, and then we add jokes to it.
Yeah.
And the great thing is with stand-up comedy, you're building an act over a year.
Yeah.
Or with this one, it's it's gone. You don't have to take your work home with you ever. So
you just and do you have we try to do a thing. This would have been good. We try to do this thing called 6 at 9. We do it once a month maybe because it's so brutal, but Galvin on Wednesday will send us 6 headlines.
Okay.
And then we have to write punchlines for him. And in some instances we really try very hard, and then sometimes we just Carmen will just make up facts because there's no funny line. I mean, that you get severe writer's block when you have to do it.
Yeah, you do. And sometimes, I don't know if you notice this, sometimes the news is kind of depressing.
Yeah. It's hard to make things funny when you're talking about, prisoners in Gaza.
Fiery bus crash kills 8.
Yeah. What do you get stuck a lot?
No, because usually if it's a terrible subject, you can make a joke that's about something ancillary to it.
Yeah.
So if there's this horrible subject, you can be make a joke about how the town's terrible.
Yeah.
It's try to deflect away from that.
Gutfeld should take a hot or not from us. Mm-hmm. Everybody does a hot or not, but we do it based on criminals in the news. So
it's just the facts. They don't see the picture, and I read them the facts about the age and where they're from and what they did, and then they decide whether they're going to be hot or not, and then we reveal the picture.
Yeah.
She's 47. Mm-hmm. She's a stenographer.
Mm-hmm.
For a law firm, and she embezzled. Yes, she's hot.
We need her first name. We need her first name, and we need
Beverly.
how old she is. Beverly. I'm gonna go no on the Beverly. I'm gonna say she's.
Is there steam coming off of me right now?
Yeah. I feel like Gutfeld is open up to something like a hot or not. That's an entertaining show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's all because of me, unless it's bad.
Right. I understand.
Why is the Tampa in that hat upside down?
It's a company called Reverse Brand, and they make a bunch of different logos and teams and sports with their with the thing upside down.
Oh, because it seems like Tampa's in distress.
Yeah. It's similar.
Which is, I guess, kind of true.
So if you're a Penn State guy, it would have Penn upside down in major distress.
2012, yes, the flag was upside down.
Were you where were you? Were you at the school during those times or no?
No, I had long since graduated. I graduated.
Wait, it's hard to tell because you look like you're 25 years old.
Yeah, the effects of the sun are impervious. I'm impervious to them. But I was long since graduated.
I feel like in high school you were smarter. You probably had your little clique.
Yeah, my nickname was Werkle.
Werkle.
Yeah, it was White Urkel.
Oh, that's not good.
So, just making everyone laugh.
Yeah.
Every Friday night.
I feel like in high school, there's a certain kind of nerd, if you will.
Yeah.
That is a cool nerd, and even though they're nerd, I still can't get into that group. Like, I feel like you wouldn't have liked me in high school.
Oh no, I would have liked. We'd have been best friends.
I don't know. I probably would have liked you, but I'd probably been like, Workle don't want to hang out with me.
Workle's got chicks.
Workle's got his own group that he hangs out in.
Like I go home and I wouldn't be Steve Urkel, I'd be Stefan.
Right.
The alter ego
yeah.
Urkel.
Like there was that group of nerds in high school that went home on Friday and did cool stuff. Like they played poker and drank Schlitz beer.
Sprite.
And they were drinking they drank whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Like something that we weren't doing.
Your school had different nerds.
Yeah,
than my school.
it's not really nerd. Nerd's not right. They're not like they loved good movies, and they I don't know. We were all like going out and doing.
I don't know. I think we're conflating the terms nerd and dork.
Yeah,
I was a dork.
Dork, yeah.
Yeah, smart kid, but kind of a slacker troll.
Right.
Like I used to tell that. I was like, "Oh, you got a C. Well, don't worry. There's nothing wrong with being average. It's just that you won't have success in your future job prospects."
Thanks, dork. I don't know. Is that your area where you grew up in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, right in the middle, State College, where Penn State is.
Oh, really?
Grew up in the college town.
Oh, so you were right. You were susceptible the whole time to the coaches.
Oh, surprisingly, the football team did not take much interest in me, despite my ripped physique.
Didn't invite Workle onto the field. Oh, that's so funny. And then when did you start doing stand up? Like when did you realize? Like what did you do first? Did you?
I wanted to do stand up when I was a kid.
You did.
Who'd
you like?
I was a huge Norm Macdonald fan.
Yeah.
I mean, him doing Week Update was so funny.
Yeah.
And I especially loved it when the jokes didn't work.
Yeah, and Norm would just be great with it.
Oh my goodness! It just continued, and even on his talk show where he would read those have the guests read those intentionally.
He was in the studio with us, and it was probably one of the highlights. And I told him at the end that we were doing afternoons at the time, and I said, "This has ruined my whole day that you were going to be here." And he's like, "Why?" I go, "Because we're such fans. I didn't want to be boring to you. I wanted you to have a good time." And he seemed like he enjoyed that day.
I've never heard that he was difficult to work with. I always heard he was fun and friendly.
He was super fun and friendly, and the best is he was like, "I'm going to do Howard Stern next week." He's like, "I'd mention you, but then he'll just call you a jerk off and talked about how you ripped off all his stuff." That's what he does to everybody. I said, "Yep, yeah, I get it." Yeah, no, he was great, man. I loved having him. That's one of the highlights of us on the show.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, you must feel like that right now.
Yes. This was the second highlight.
Yeah, this is like.
So what do? You like Norm, and you're like, I think I might want to try to do stand up.
Yeah, and like I did some like stuff at my youth group, but like I did some open mics in college.
See,
but,
you were in a youth group. That's how you know you're a dork. Yeah.
I thought
Is that through a church or something?
I was actually one of the cool kids.
In the youth group?
Yeah.
Sure. Who isn't?
They're like, whoa, he talks to adults.
Yeah. All right, so good. You did a couple of things.
Yeah, and then I did some open mics in college. There was really no scene at the time. Whereas now there's like stand up. There's a club at Penn State, but there's like even big towns have a comedy scene.
Yeah.
I was doing open mics, and there was like jerks doing Dave Matthews covers. Like nobody wanted to hear anything
So
new.
it wasn't comedy open mic, it was just open mic.
Just open mic.
That's
and
rough.
you get some crazies
there,
not me, the other people.
Yeah.
And then so I decided after like a couple years after college, I even my dad was like, "You're not getting any younger. If you want to do this, you got to do it now." So I did. And
so
it
did you
eventually
move?
worked.
Where'd you move, or you just started doing it from where you were?
I moved to New York, and I moved to Weehawken, New Jersey. It's right across the river.
Yeah.
New Jersey's Paris, and I took some stand-up classes at the comic strip. This guy D.F. Sweedler, who still teaches it, and
No, did you ever stop to think this? This is what bugs me.
what's that?
Taking lessons from D.F. Sweedler. Who, like if you said Norm Macdonald was giving lessons, like when radio guys, when they're like, we have a consultant coming in, his name is Bill Miller, and they're like, oh, what has he done? Nothing. He's D.F. Sweedler has never done anything.
Well, he did do A&E's Comedy on the Road. He'd also been doing it for decades, but a lot of people poo-poo comedy clubs, comedy classes.
Right.
I think the reason they do that is because a lot of people have unethically traded off
Yes.
the name of something or promise that industry would see you, which is preposterous. Industry's not going to see people do their first stand-up ever.
Right. The guys from Letterman will be here in your final class.
So they kind of like give people false hope, and there's a cottage industry of like living off people's dreams.
Yeah.
But DF didn't do that, and this is a legit comic. And, people say, oh, no one can make you funny, and that's true. But just like someone can tell you how to hold a paintbrush.
Yeah, it doesn't have to make you funny. If you are funny, they can bring it out of you.
Right, and Sam Morrill was in my class.
Oh, really?
And he succeeded, too. So, I mean, it's not... I understand why people have a thing against comedy classes.
I don't have anything against it. My thing was, like I always feel like if you're going to learn from somebody, it should be somebody who... Like, anytime I have a program director who tries to tell me what's better for the show, I go, what did you do? Well, you know what I mean? And that always bugs me. But it's not that he's not good. I don't know the guy.
But you've also been doing this for a while.
Right.
So it's like, I was just kind of green off the street. And
look, if the guy was on A&E at the Improv, whatever.
And also he's in New York City doing it. It's not like he's some guy in Paducah. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of open mic stuff, Joe was on Crashing, which I don't know whether it was the open mic thing, but when you played the robot comedian, that was one of the funniest things, man.
Yeah, it was hard getting my quads into that box because they're so muscular. But,
that was such a great performance.
Oh, thank you. I think that there was I have a vague recollection of seeing a guy who actually did a robot bit. I don't know if that inspired that.
Yeah,
but funny. They let me come on there and write my own jokes for it.
Oh, they did?
Which was really cool, yeah.
Now, was that Judd Apatow?
Yeah, I think he was like the head executive producer, but someone else was the director. I can't remember.
I went to the store one time, and when I not the store, the cellar, and when I left, Judd Apatow was out there. They were actually filming in the streets.
Oh yeah.
He was hands on then. Oh, that's pretty. All right. So you do the open mics. When do you start getting good?
They had this thing at the comic strip, which was in like on their website. It was the only thing where I could see an audition process.
Okay.
Because the internet wasn't that great then. I was like, how do I get someone to take a chance on me? They had this audition process at the comic strip for this thing called Late Night, which was after the regularly scheduled show ended on the weeknights.
Right.
They would take the people who passed for Late Night and just say, hey, audience, regular show's over. We've got some up-and-comers here. You can buy drinks at the bar and let them go up. And we would tag team it. Sometimes the whole crowd would leave.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes, especially like on a Memorial Day, the Sunday night, we'd have 90 people, and they'd be a real crowd, not like sometimes the bar show crowd in the city. It's very homogenous. It's like 30-year-olds in Brooklyn that know all about Pokemon, but nothing about mowing a lawn.
Yeah.
So it was great to have the chance to do a real show in front of a real crowd. And I passed for that in 2006, not long after I came to the city. So it was like me and Sam were just like off to the races after that. And then
was there anybody else in your class that we might know?
There was one other guy I thought was really funny, but he's since passed away. And he, it was interesting. Like, I could tell Sam was funny a minute into the first class. And I could tell this other guy was funny. He was an older guy who played. He was a musician that just wanted to try stand up.
Oh yeah.
And he really got into it. But no one else in that particular class. I know he's had some other people really succeed. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rob Riggle actually took.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Ooh. I hate him.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's one of the most unfunny. He ruins football for me on the weekends.
What does he do for football? He made me laugh on the Daily Show. I know that.
Yeah, no, he just too much yelling and all that. Funny people don't do that. I don't know. That's my opinion, but I think Sam is great.
Oh yeah.
The fact that the two of you came out of there and both had both successes out of that one class. That's enough credential right there for them to sell another class.
Yeah, and this Late Night thing that the strip did, that's where Chris Rock got his big start.
Oh, really?
He was like just trying to like hustle, and Eddie Murphy's like, put this guy on.
Yeah.
And went from there. But
did you get any comics early on that were like kind of take you under their wing kind of guys? Like, hey, this guy, like people look at you and you do unique stuff. You're not just a run-of-the-mill comedian. Somebody that say, hey, this guy's got something special.
Thank you. I break a lot of ground. I get that a lot. Yeah, a couple guys. This guy, Jay Larson, who's out west now, really funny dude, helped me out a bit. Pete Corielli.
I love Pete.
Oh, man, that guy is freaking hilarious.
Pete Corielli is one I could like. I know he does a podcast with Sebastian.
Yeah.
But I would just rather hear Pete Corielli drug stories for the rest of my life. He is just so funny to me, and the way he tells a story, he's great.
He is a great storyteller.
Yeah.
I mean, he had this just crying about the story about this guy left his strollers outside of his apartment. And he just kept getting sick of just these mundane things. He can make a 10-minute story that'll have you.
He told us a story about him trying to sneak drugs into, what was it? It was like
Lebanon
the Middle East or something
somewhere
like that. Like it's great. Like it's things that you like. This can't be a real story, and then the way he tells it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad things are worked out for you. Now here's my problem. Who's your agent?
I'm with Innovative Artists.
Well, you might want to listen. You got to go there and go. I'm writing on the #1 late night show on television right now. We've innovated late night, with this Gutfeld show. I'm going to need better transportation out of Weehawken into the city, and I'm going to need more than a cubicle.
Yeah, I deserve a corner office. I'll go along with that.
All right, I like that.